Honeybee. I mean, I'm progressive, but I'm a socialist at the end of the day. What's up with you, Black Wolf? What's up with you? And I'm not saying that word. What's up, Adolfo? How y'all doing, man? Where the fuck? Oh. Ah, yeah. Yeah, y'all see that shit. Y'all see that shit in the background. Motherfucking books. Y'all like, oh fuck, man. Is he about to start reading this shit? You motherfucking right. I'm just waiting on my motherfucking coffee to finish percolating this shit so I can have a cup of coffee while I read. You know. You singer very. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what you're trying to say for real. You singer very. Yeah, I very singer. Anyway, this is the book. Stony the Road by Henry Louis Gates Jr. What's going on, Eliso? Is that how you say it? Eliso? I don't know how to say it. Luciano, what's going on with you from Brazil? Brazil. Anyway, Stony the Road by Henry Louis Gates Jr. New York Times bestseller, baby. Have you ever done something so right and it felt right? Oh wait, no, something so wrong and it felt right. Yeah, actually. Like on a regular basis even. But anyway. Sorry, Louis. I scared him and shit. Reconstruction, white supremacy, and the rise of Jim Crow. You know. So that's what this book is about. I've already started reading it, like so like where I left off is here and shit. Anyway, before I start reading, because I want to have my coffee before I do it. So let's see. Have you hold on, shit. Oh, it's all good, Luciano. I understand. I just wanted to ask, do you really worship Satan or is it satire for the content? No hate, just wonder. I'm glad you asked. No, I don't worship Satan because I don't believe that Satan exists. Just like I don't believe God exists or heaven or hell, angels or demons. I don't believe in any of that, right? Used to, like grew up on it, in fact, you know. But it was only like maybe a few years ago that I actually got into Satanism. But I only got into it because I didn't want to like switch one religion for another. Like, I mean, personally, I feel all religions are fucking dumb and pointless. But anyway, but Satanism, particularly the Church of Satan, or I'm sorry, not the Church of Satan. They're different. The Satanic Temple. What we do is mostly activism. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever go to like the Satanic Temple's website, it's all about fighting for rights. It's all about like keeping church and state separate. Fighting for women's abortion rights, it's like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The founder of the Satanic Temple hates motherfucking Trump. You know what I'm saying? Just like I do. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. So he's progressive. You know what I'm saying? His name's Lucian Greaves. And if I would actually urge you to watch the movie. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but that's where I first saw that. But yeah, we don't believe in him. We just believe that we use Satan as a symbol that represents challenging arbitrary authority, enlightenment, carnality, individuality. Like that's what we use him as a symbol for. Do we think he exists? Not at all. So that's what atheistic Satanism is. You know what I'm saying? That's what I am. I'm an atheistic Satanist. And my main goal is to try to make life better for the majority of Americans, which I can't say that about Christians. Like they just worship, bow the knee to Jesus or whatever. Like that doesn't help nothing, dog. Like, that's not helping shit. Activism helps. Activism, doing shit helps. Like, praying, get the fuck out of here. Like, anyway. So I'm glad you asked that though, because a lot of people be like, "What the fuck? Why don't you worship? Why you worship the devil?" I'm like, I never said I worship the devil. I never said I was a devil worshiper. It's a completely different thing. Hey, I love you too. Thank you. That's all right, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. A look at Reconstruction. The eruption of the expression of white supremacist ideology in what increasingly appears to be a determined attempt to roll back the very phenomenon of a black presidency is just one reason that the rise and fall of Reconstruction and the surge of white supremacy in the former Confederate States following the end of the Civil War are especially relevant subjects for Americans to reflect upon at this time in the history of our democracy. In fact, I'd venture that few American historical periods are more relevant to understanding our contemporary racial politics than Reconstruction. Think of the fundamental question that the study of the period forces us to consider. Who is entitled to citizenship? Who should have the right to vote? What is the government's responsibility in dealing with terrorism? What is the relationship between political and economic democracy? These are all Reconstruction questions. Reconstruction is when the country intended to institutionalize for its black citizens what President Lincoln had called, quote, a new birth of freedom, saw the passage of the country's first civil rights laws and the amending of the Constitution forming the basis of the rights revolution of the modern era that continues to this day, most recently in the ruling that established the right to marry without discrimination based on gender or sexual preference. One of the most shocking things to realize about Reconstruction is how painfully short it was, compared to the dreadfully long duration of slavery. Though scholars differ on when Reconstruction began, whether it was in 1861, 63, or 65, it was clearly on the road to ending by the Panic of 1873, the first, quote, Great Depression in post-Civil War America, and suffered a devastating political blow just 4 years later with this Compromise of 1877, which, in the most stripped down of terms, secured the election of Republican Rutherford B. Hayes by giving him the electoral votes of Democratic South Carolina and Louisiana in exchange for a promise to withdraw the remaining federal troops from those state houses. Regardless of its brevity, Reconstruction remains one of the most pivotal eras in the history of racial relations in American history, and probably the most misunderstood. I'm gonna stop right there for a hot second. Let me address some of y'all's questions. I need to make a moderator in here. Oh shit, hold on. I don't know what just happened. Go. There we go. So you're agnostic. No. Agnosticism is when you believe that there's no proof. There's the existence of a god or a devil cannot be proven. Like, that's what agnostics believe. I believe something completely different. I don't believe that it can or can't be proven. I'm not on the fence. Like, agnostics are pretty much on, like, they're open to the idea that there maybe could be a god or a devil. They just firmly believe and assert that proof of one or the other is impossible. So I don't believe it's impossible. I feel like if there was a god or a devil, there's ways they could just straight up prove it, like, because they're all knowing and omniscient and all that, right? So they could totally prove it. In fact, it would probably do more to help your cause if you were to just let motherfuckers know you exist, you know. But anyway, he doesn't exist, so there's that. Atheists just straight up have the firm position that there is no God. I don't care what you find. There's no God, like, period. Like, and that's where we're at. That's what atheists believe. I mean, it's still a little different from agnosticism, but agnosticism is still, again, a completely different thing. What's going on, Georgiana? Do you believe that the Illuminati do exist? No, I do not. And even if they did, like, I'm not worried about the Illuminati. Like, I'm worried about the people who are elected officials in Washington who are actually creating laws to either take away some of the freedoms we already have or to install new legislation that takes away freedoms that we've already had. You know what I'm saying? Like, these motherfuckers, the people that are in Washington that you hear about all the time, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, I mean, you can pick one. You know what I'm saying? Lauren Boebert, Mitch McConnell, fucking Kevin McCarthy. It don't fucking matter. Left, right, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, they're all fucking trash. But, kind of forgot what your question was, but hold on, let me get back into the. I need a moderator. I'm fine, thanks. That's what's up. Oh yeah, and the Illuminati. So that's what it was. Yeah, no, I don't. The Illuminati is not at all my concern. It's the people that we have elected who are actually doing shit. It is the corporate leaders of America. It's big government. Not big government. It's big oil. You know what I'm saying? It's big grocery. It's big fucking tech. It's big fucking every fucking weapons manufacturers. Fucking the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex. Like, these are all the motherfuckers that, who run the country. Like, it's not no Illuminati. Like, that, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's Illuminati shit is just to distract your motherfucking ass from the fact that the people you can actually see and hear on TV, you know what I'm saying, are the motherfuckers you need to worry about. Not no shadowy figures. Fuck them shadowy figures. The motherfuckers we can see are straight up telling you what they're doing to us. They're telling you what freedoms they're going to take away. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not worried about, Roe versus Wade wasn't overturned by Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? It was overturned by elected officials, period. Like, we need to stop getting caught up on stupid ass shit like that. Not saying you was caught up on it, but I'm just saying, like, people be talking about Illuminati all the fucking time. Like, bro, get your fucking mind out of the gutter. There is no fucking Illuminati. And even if they were, they have no power. The people we have elected and put in office in Washington are the motherfuckers with the power. Unfortunately, they have thousands upon thousands of lobbyists who represent these corporations in their ear to make sure that these legislators craft legislation that benefits their corporations and not your monkey ass. Like, that's how it works. I'm not worried about an Illuminati. You shouldn't be worried about an Illuminati. You need to be worried about your motherfucking governor or your fucking state representatives. You know what I'm saying? The senators and shit. That's what you need to worry about. I'm not worried about no shadowy cabals of shit. It's the motherfuckers right in our face that we need to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I need to make one of y'all I'll make you a moderator. And then Goofy Goober, the guy that keeps saying that, we are going to go ahead and block you. Yeah, there we go. Right, they ban weed, but not cigarettes and alcohol. All right. They're so concerned about the health of Americans or children, yet alcohol and cigarettes are legal to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And weed ain't no more harmful than either of those two. But those are legal. So they really need to cut it out. Like, ain't nobody holier than thou. You know what I'm saying? When the Civil War began in 1861, Reconstruction was really a process question. If and when the Union was saved, how would the 11 states that had succeeded to form the Confederacy be reabsorbed? On that, the U.S. Constitution was silent. Improvisation would prove unavoidable. As the rebellion dragged on and the war hardened, the definition of Reconstruction changed. There could be no reconstructing the Union as it had been, with the aim of the struggle eventually expanding from saving the Union alone to saving it by emancipating the Confederate states, the Confederacy's slaves, and the aiming of those brave black men among them willing to fight and die for the cause. Reconstruction took on a double meaning, both of readmitting the conquered Confederate states to the Union and of granting freedom, citizenship, and a bundle of political, civil, and economic rights to African Americans, both those free before the war and those freed by the war. Reconstruction in this sense meant repairing what the war had broken apart while simultaneously attempting to uproot the old slave system and the ideology underpinning it that had rationalized the process of making property of men a black and white issue. As the historian David Blight says, Reconstruction at once called for both healing and justice, and those competing ends would not only remain in tension throughout the period, they would also prolong an enormous amount of racial violence until Reconstruction itself was overthrown. The process of Reconstruction involved nothing less than a monumental effort to create a biracial democracy out of the wreckage of the rebellion. Though that effort ultimately was thwarted, Reconstruction saw the passage of a vast array of legislation aimed at transforming the status of the formerly enslaved, beginning with Congress's passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, the nation's first federal civil rights law. The ratification of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments in 1865, 68, and 1870, respectively, permanently altered the status of African Americans under the U.S. Constitution. And after seizing control of Reconstruction policy from President Andrew Johnson, who had called for a speedy readmission of the former rebel states as they hastily set about imposing a series of harsh, quote, black codes on the freedom men and freed women almost as soon as the war ended, Congress, between March 1867 and March 1868, passed 4 successive military Reconstruction acts that carved the defeated southern states, with the exception of Tennessee, into 5 military districts and required them to hold elections for new constitutional conventions, which wouldn't be deemed legitimate unless black men were given the vote. They also had to ratify the 14th Amendment, which, among other things, established birthright citizenship and prohibited any state from abridging the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, depriving any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or denying to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. During the longer Reconstruction era, including the redemption period that followed it, an estimated 2,000 black men served in office at every level of government, including 2 U.S. senators and 20 congressmen, from Hiram Rebels, a Republican from Mississippi who took office in the Senate on February 25, 1870, and Joseph Rainey, Republican from South Carolina, who joined the House on December 12th of that same year, to George Henry White, a Republican from North Carolina, who took office in the U.S. House of Representatives on March 4th, 1897, and left office on March 3rd, 1901. White was the last African American to serve in either House of Congress until Oscar Stanton DePriest, a Republican from Chicago, took office in the House on March 4, 1929, in the midst of the New Negro movement. His election reflected Chicago's changing demographics resulting from the influx of black people from the former Confederate states during the Great Migration. In other words, the black people who had been impoverished by the South's agricultural economy and disenfranchised by white supremacist state constitutions and legislation not only migrated to cities in the North for work, but voted when they did so, effectively fighting back from their new homes against the dismantling of their rights in their old homes. The South would wait even longer to see the return of black representation post-Reconstruction. It wasn't until 1972 that Georgia and Texas elected Andrew Young and Barbara Jordan, respectively, to the U.S. House of Representatives. For North Carolina, it would be another 20 years for this milestone, with the electoral victory of Ava Clayton in 1992. With the aid of the Freedoms Bureau, created shortly before the Civil War's end on March 3, 1865, to assist former slaves in matters relating to education, health, contracts and legal dealings, and other elusive land ownership, African Americans reconstituted families torn apart by the slave system, exercised their right to marry, and navigated the transition to the contract-based free labor system. They pursued land for farming, and even when that promise was betrayed, they persevered, building businesses, churches, schools, and other legacy institutions. They attained literacy, educating their children, and created art, literature, and other cultural forms to express the African American experience, including singing the spirituals that bonded them to generations of their ancestors, for whom freedom was, in the words of Langston Hughes, the ultimate dream deferred. Well, pause right there real quick. You understand? I sound completely non-religious, buying both Satanism and Catholicism. But I find both Satanism and Catholicism produce the same amount of right and wrong people. I am too lazy to hold beliefs in the unknown, and I believe in the paranormal, voodoo, and magic too, if you will. I don't believe in any of that. Like most Satanists, at least of the Satanic Temple, don't believe in magic, voodoo, or like we are grounded in science. Like that's what the Satanic Temple is all about. Like we're grounded in science, so all of our tenets are based in science and practicality. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're all easy to do. Like, it's not like the 10 Commandments, you know what I'm saying? Like, the 10 Commandments are fucking impossible, dude. Like, well, I mean, who the fuck lives like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, every one of us done broke the 10 Commandments, probably as a matter of practice, you know. I believe in manifestation, I guess, and karma, too. I mean, I thought I believed in karma, but there's too many motherfuckers. If karma was a real thing, Jeff Bezos would be a poor, broke, living under a bridge motherfucker. But he's not. And same thing with every other billionaire in this country. If karma really existed, these scrupulous, wage slave engaging in, union busting, evil sons of bitches would not have all the money they have and all the freedom to enjoy the rights afforded to every American, but that most of us can't enjoy because we're fucking too tethered to our jobs to survive, as opposed to you guys, you rich billionaires who don't have to go to work. You don't have to do shit. You just wake up, and millions and pouring millions into your bank account. It's like, you're evil. You're a piece of shit. Like, you motherfuckers have enough money to eradicate every problem we have in America, basically. It's every economic, like hunger, homelessness, all that shit. We could have been solved it. We been had the money. Been had it. We still got it. Look how much money we just gave to the fucking military this year. Just this year alone. Just this year alone. And that's not even including the money and weapons and shit that we done gave to Ukraine. Like, they don't even count that money. It's just the other money. You know what I'm saying? That we pass every year for the military. Ridiculous gobs and gobs of billions upon billions upon billions. And it doesn't even require billions upon billions upon billions to give everyone a home and to eradicate homelessness. Like, those two alone, you don't need that much money to do. Like, you could do it with 1/100th of what we spend on the military and completely take care of our problems. But we won't do it. Because that doesn't help. That doesn't give any money to the shareholders. Like, that doesn't help corporations out. They're like, nah. I don't give a fuck how much that'll help us in the long run. It's all about the short term. What are my profits going to look like at the end of this fiscal quarter? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's all about, I wish it was Illuminati, to be honest. Like, that'd be so much easier. Like, because then it's like, oh, well, we don't know who to fight against. It's just some shadowy organization that's making all our lives miserable. And we don't know who they are. They're not elected, we presume, so we don't know what to do. But it's like, but no, fortunately, we know who's making our problems. You know what I'm saying? We know who's the cause of our problems. Democrats and Republicans in Washington beholden to the corporate sector. Like, that's who our problem is. You know what I'm saying? And they are beholden to the idea of neoliberalism. You know what I'm saying? Where all the money generated in an economy goes to the tippy top. And if they're kind, they might sprinkle you some crumbs. You know what I'm saying? As has been the case for over 40 years now. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I need to get a cup of coffee, dude. Y'all, shit. Where my moderator at? My band's guitarist has already left. We're currently looking for replacements. Yo, I love your Slipknot bids. Thank you. Karma is why we are not all created equal. Whatever wrong you do in your previous life, you pay. See, y'all miss me with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, your previous, like, get the fuck out of here. That's not based in science. Like, God, you motherfuckers will believe anything. You'll believe you had a former life and you're going to be reincarnated and karma and get the fuck out of here. So what you're telling me then is, I guess what, Jeff Bezos was like some saint in his former life, and that's why in this life he gets to shit on everyone else. Like, wait, that logic doesn't even make fucking sense. Like, what are you talking about? Like, come up off that, dog. Like, you wasting your time. But that's exactly what neoliberalism wants you to do. That's exactly what capitalists want you to do. They want you to focus on this other shit and like, oh no, there's something going on in the like, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, they want you to focus on anything other than the fact that these motherfuckers in Washington are raping you left and right. You know what I'm saying? Left and right. Left and right. But you won't get mad at them. In fact, you might even defend them because you're too busy worried about whatever it is they put in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You're too busy worried about, like, just ancillary nonsense. Like, can't be worried about that type shit, man. Fuck karma. If karma was real, goddamn it, I'd be rich. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'd have all the money. Because karma knows if I had a lot of money, I would practically give most, if not all of it away. You know what I'm saying? I take care of some bills, of course, get some shit that I need, get some shit from my mama. You know what I mean? All that type shit. But then most of it, like, I'm talking about if I had, like, multi-millions. What the fuck do I need with multi-millions? Like, everything I want in life doesn't require multi-millions. You know what I'm saying? So I would just give most of it away. And if there was a God, he would know that that was in my heart, and he would do whatever he could to make sure that I got that amount of money because he knows I would give it away, you know. But there's no God. There's no karma. So get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, believe what's in front of you, goddammit. Like, y'all so ready to believe that not what's in front of you that you'll make some shit up to believe as opposed to just what is right in front of you. What is it saying right in front of you, you know? These motherfuckers are telling you to your face they want to take your rights away. But you're like, nah. It's got to be like Illuminati or shadowy cabals deep within the... No, motherfucker, they right there on television with a camera in their face talking to the fucking, reporter at Fox News. Like, they're right there. Like, that's who you need to worry about. In the broadest terms, Reconstruction was a revolutionary time in American life, a time of national renewal extended out from 4 years of civil war, death, and destruction that narrowed the gap between the country's ideals and laws and advanced racial progress. Yet, it was also a turbulent and brutally violent period, one marked by rapid economic change and new forms of white resistance that included everything from organized paramilitary assaults and political assassinations to night raids and domestic terror. And I'm going to pause it right there because... yeah, like, that's why we won't even, like, the U.S. for real don't even have a concrete definition on what terrorism is, and they won't do it because they know for a fact we engage in terrorism on a regular basis. Like, so we can't define what it is because, God forbid, if we did that, then the international court would recognize that half the shit we do is illegal as fuck. But, but what do we care? It's like, that's what we do. We stole this land and murdered off the people who were here, stole people from their land to do all the work for us here, and then turn around and say, nah, those people don't fuck, they're not people, fuck their rights, and then put everything in place, socially, economically, to make sure that they stayed less than, like, you're just not a person. You're not important. Your life has no meaning. You don't matter. Like, every moment of every day spells out to you that you are a worthless human being. Like, and that has been the case from day one when they brought us over here. America has been founded on murder and theft, slavery, rape, colonization. That's what we do as a matter of course. Like, that's what we do, We're terrible. We have terrorists right here in the States, but we so worried about some brown dude with a turban on. Like, man, get the fuck out of here. Every single terrorist attack in America that you've heard about on TV outside of 9/11 was probably 9 times out of 10 done by some right-wing white dude. You know what I'm saying? Shooting up fucking gay clubs and country fucking concerts and fucking get the fucking schools and shit. Like, them ain't black dudes doing that shit. Them ain't fucking Arabs and shit. That ain't no Iraqi kid with the M16 or the fucking AR-15. That's some white kid. Some privileged ass white kid in his country murdering motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's terrorism. But they won't call it that. No, because those white kids reflect who's in power. White folks in Washington. They're like, nah, dog. Why you think the fucking white kid that got off Kyle Rittenhouse, why you think he got off? Cold-blooded. I don't know how many laws he broke. But they were just like, they'll find any reason to let that white kid go. Let him go. Now you're a low-key celebrity on the right. Because they don't give a fuck about humanity. All they care is about, did you kill them goddamn left-wingers? You kill some Democrats? What's all that fucking matters? Doesn't matter if they had families or if they fought for our rights or none of that matters. Just, is he a Democrat? Well, some bitch, he needs to go. Pat on the back for you. You just defended yourself. How you going to defend yourself when you went to the fight that you weren't even part of? Like, man, get the fuck out of it. But that's what a white supremacist judicial system will do if you're a white person. You know what I'm saying? But if you're black, shit. They would have hung Kyle Rittenhouse if he'd have been a black dude. Shit. They'd have been like, oh, hell nah, dog. First of all, you done crossed state lines. You shouldn't have had that weapon. You didn't kill people. You threatened people. You pointed the weapon at the police, even though that didn't happen, but they'd say it did anyway. Just, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how we are in America. White supremacy. So keep that in mind. I got so many books, y'all. So many books. Like, this don't even, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't read this book yet. Every other book I got over here, I done read. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, like, still get a feel for this book. Like, I mean, I already love where it's going, what it's covered so far, the information I'm getting from it, but, you know what I'm saying? I'd still like to, like, read it first and then reread it for you guys. Just so I kind of, like, can do a, you know what I'm saying? Like, plus, like, this book got a lot of pictures and shit. Like, a lot of fucking pictures. So that's kind of cool, because most books I read don't have damn pictures. And if they do, they're like graphs. You know what I'm saying? Stats and shit. Like, that shit ain't sexy. I meant to make me some coffee, huh? What's good with your silver goster? I think violence is never the answer. Well, That might sound like a pretty emancipated statement for you to say, but I don't know what to tell you. Violence. Look, America was only founded on violence. You know what I'm saying? They use violence against black people in the streets as a matter every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like during the civil rights era, every day you couldn't just walk across the bridge without police being like, break this shit up. You know what I'm saying? And start beating you. It was all right for y'all to use violence, but as soon as we start to rise up and try to fight the power, and then we break a window or some shit, now it's like, oh, violence is never the answer. Where was the violence was never the answer when they was beating innocent black people over the head? Like the government and the state has never had a problem with violence. Like they are quick to use violence. Violence is the answer and the only answer for our government and for elected officials and for neoliberalism and capitalism and hegemonic ambitions as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Violence is part of, but once we start to do it, now it's like, well, violence isn't the answer. Get the fuck out of here. Violence might be the only answer. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get the powerful people in Washington to concede. They're not just going to give up their power. They're not just going to start making sure you have a decent living. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to, power clings to power. And the only way you're going to get it from them is to rip it from their fucking hands, which means it might involve some violence. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Violence is the reason why you were able to say that. Because somebody had to fight for your right to say whatever you wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? So it was all right for violence then. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, come off of your high horse. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes violence is necessary because if that's our only recourse, then that's what you got to do. If you want some sort of like, some semblance of a normal life. Being impoverished, this neoliberal agenda, neoliberalism as a whole, capitalism as a whole, as an economy, as an economic structure, is violent inherently. It is inherently violent. So it's all right for that to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're okay with that violence, like, but not when the peasants start to maybe do some violence back to the oppressor. But you're not cool with that violence. Like, I mean, just make up your mind. Non-violent. That's why they love Martin Luther King so much, because he was non-violent. Yeah, and they wasn't going to change shit with his non-violent ass. It wasn't until black folks like Malcolm X started to exercise the same rights white folks did. Now it's the problem. You know, white folks can walk around all day with weapons and guns and all kind of shit. Soon as one black dude pick up a weapon, now it's like, oh Jesus, what have we done? All right, look, we need to get some laws in place here and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's only a problem when we do it. You know, when y'all do it, it's all right. It's just, hey, whatever, you know. But don't you do it. And that's that American exceptionalism. That's why I said we'll never admit we'll never actually have a concrete definition on terrorism because we engage in terrorism. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to give you the definition of something that we know we do that could possibly get us in trouble. We ain't about to do that shit. We engage in terrorism all the time. It's only when another country does it to us do we call it terrorism. But when we do it to them, that's just diplomacy or whatever. You know, that's just, that's just spreading democracy or whatever the fuck. But when we do it to them, you know what I'm saying? When we do it to them, it's spread democracy. They do it to us, it's terrorism. Like, so that's what I mean. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, Americans always think we exceptional when it comes to this shit. Like, no the fuck we're not. We're just the most depraved. That's how exceptional we are. We're the most savage. We're the most brutal. We're the most cutthroat. We're the most cold-hearted, the most evil, the most wicked. Like, that's America for you. Now, I don't mean like just regular citizens. I mean our foreign policy agenda. The fact that capitalism is our economic structure, and look at how bad capitalism has been. Look how much homelessness it's caused. Look how many jobs it's sent overseas. Capitalism is destroying us. The violence inherent within capitalism is perpetuated upon the American people every single day, every minute, every waking fucking minute. You're being suffocated by the stranglehold of capitalism. And your only method to fight back against that shit, to make shit more equitable, more fair, is to organize. First of all, you got to recognize your position. You know what I'm saying? You're not a capitalist. So you shouldn't advocate for policies that benefit capitalists. Because you, A, aren't a capitalist, and B, never will be. Period. Like, if you started out a proletariat, 9 times out of 10, you're going to die a proletariat. If you was working all your life, you'll probably die working or die having been a worker. You're not going to get to sit back and just fucking, you're never going to be Jeff Bezos. It's not going to happen. That's not the way capitalism works. There is no meritocracy here in this country. There isn't, period. So that's why it's best that you advocate for financial or economic arrangement of the government or of the society that benefits you. It benefits your mom and your child and your neighbors and your friends. You know what I'm saying? And your significant other. Instead of only voting for people who have no interest in you. They have no interest in you. They don't give a fuck if you rah Trump. Trump don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck if you rah Joe Biden. Joe Biden don't give a fuck about you. Rah Obama. Obama don't give a fuck about you. They're all neoliberals. They all work for capitals. They all work for capitalism, for capitalists, for capital. They don't work for you, you poor, going to work every day, broke son of a bitch. Like, they don't give a fuck about you. If you don't own a fucking yacht and maybe a private island, they don't give a fuck about you. They're not legislating on your behalf at all. You know what I'm saying? Once you get rich, and I mean mega rich, I don't mean, you just hit some bullshit $1 million lottery. Nah, it better be like the motherfucking 800-something $1 million jackpot and Powerball, goddammit. And even then, you know what I'm saying? Because you weren't a capitalist to begin with, you'll probably frivolously lose that damn money because you don't know how to make your money work for you. But that's my point. Like, capitalists don't have to work. You do. You ain't gonna get no money unless you go get it. You know what I'm saying? Capitalist money just comes to them. You know what I'm saying? They done got the capital and people have invested the money into them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or they inherited it or whatever the fuck. Like, you didn't have to do anything. You just got the money, Whereas the rest of us have to work, and you will never work. I don't care how many hours you put in. You are never going to be a millionaire just going to work every day. It doesn't work that way. Not unless you invent some shit, invent it and sell it, or discover some oil or something. I don't know. But that's not how capitalism works. If you already have capital or don't have easy access to capital, this country isn't for you. It's not working for you. It doesn't care about you at all. Like, it doesn't care about me, it doesn't care about you. And that's why I'm like, fuck Trump, dog. Like, why y'all so ready to suck his dick? Like, he don't give a fuck about you, bro. Trump don't give a fuck about nobody. But neither does Biden. But you don't see me all like, Biden 2024. Y'all such fucking cocksuckers. Just letting Trump teabag you with his fucking nasty ass gray-haired nuts, you know what I'm saying? And you're just all, give it to me, daddy. Because you don't give a fuck about this country. You don't give a fuck about the Constitution. You just want to be some fucking sycophant to another dude, another man. And you call yourself an alpha? You call yourself a man, dog? Because you all like, Daddy Trump. Get the fuck out of here. At least he his own man. What are you? You just a suck up to his ass, you piddly, pathetic bitch. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here. You can't just vote for a motherfucker and then be like, good job when he does a good job, and man, he fucking up when he fucked up. Not you guys. You're all like, I don't know what Trump doing bad. He doesn't do anything bad. Like, y'all so fucking pathetic, bro. Y'all pathetic. Pathetic. Why would you put all that in one man? You're a man, dude. A man. Y'all lame. Y'all about as lame as Andrew Tate supporters. Like, y'all, people like him will wipe the floor with people like you. You know what I'm saying? Because you have no backbone. You ain't a man. You just, whatever Daddy Trump say, whatever Daddy Andrew Tate say, you motherfuckers take that as gospel because you don't have no independent thought. You're a follower, You don't read nothing. You just take for granted whatever somebody say on television. Whatever somebody said on Breitbart. Goddamn. Whatever they said on Fox and Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro said it, you believe it. Because you ain't about to go read nothing. You ain't about to go read shit with your ignorant ass. You about to just accept whatever he tell you. He tell you whatever. And you'll believe it just because he has an R next to his name. Because he's speaking the shit that, you know what I'm saying? Because he's talking that shit that only exists on the right. So you willing to forgive all, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the truth, man. No the fuck he not. He a grifter too. Y'all so pathetic, man. Y'all just don't nobody want to go read nothing. Like, y'all just want to take whatever somebody on television, somebody social media said to you, and you just take that shit. You're like, yeah, I guess it must be so. He a Republican, I'm a Republican. You know, he got a Trump flag, I got a Trump flag, so it must be true. It's like, nah. They'll tell you whatever to keep you motherfuckers from rising up. They'll say whatever to keep you motherfuckers from actually trying to make change that'll benefit you. So they'll have us at each other's throats. Because as long as we at each other's throats, we ain't at their throats. And that's what they want. They want us bickering back and forth. Democrats, Republicans, leftists, rightists. You know what I'm saying? Like they want us on this shit so that we're not taking this same anger, this same fight, this same energy to the people that's really the responsible party for your problems. You know, but instead, no. We want to bicker about amongst one another on LGBTQ issues and fucking MAGA this and Eminem candy that. Get the fuck out of here. None of that shit fucking matters. None of it. None of it. None of it. And they know it don't. But they know you'll get all caught up in it and go, I gotta give my 2 cents. My feelings are hurt. They're being too woke. Get the fuck. And y'all so pathetic, bro. So pathetic. This is what they want y'all to do, by the way. They want y'all to do this. They don't want you to pay attention. They don't want you to read nothing. They don't want you to research nothing. Just take what they say as gospel and continue living your life as a spectator in this system and not a participant. They don't want you being involved in politics. So anytime somebody be like, I don't get involved in politics, that is a win for the capitalists. They're like, yes, one less person. You know. Y'all need to realize that, man. That's the only way shit gonna get better for us. Stop blaming each other. Like, it's not about black and white. It's not about left and right. It's about capital versus peasant. You know what I'm saying? Capitalists versus proletariats. You're not a capitalist. That means me and you on the same team. I don't give a fuck who you voted for in 2016 or 2020. Doesn't fucking matter. Because whoever we voted for, you voted for, I voted for, whoever we voted for, they work for capitalists. They don't work for us. So it doesn't fucking matter. Like, until you realize that me and you really on the same team. Because we're both a part of the class struggle. That's what this is all about. We're not part of the capitalist class. We're part of the worker class. And we need to band together so that we can use our collective power to give some sort of pushback to the powers. Because we don't have the money. Money is what makes shit happen. It's either money or an overwhelming force. And we have to be that overwhelming force. Because if we are that overwhelming force. We just got to stop bickering amongst one another about this piddly-ass bullshit that has nothing to do with nothing, you know, and start focusing on what's really the cause of our problems, and that is capitalists on both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I need to wake up. I need to wake the fuck up. I'm out of here. Hail Satan.